When the internet came about, were you expecting that because we could bypass the mainstream media, there would be finally the democratization of free speech? I mean, were you expecting that? Because when I look at it now, it seems like in some ways the opposite has happened.
Well, the digital media have a strange impact. Technically, they should be increasing freedom of speech. But in fact, what's happening, I think, is that people are being directed into bubbles where they never hear anything except their own views reported. And so it's kind of technically freedom of speech, but effectively it's probably reducing it.
Yeah, and it's strange.
Change that by law. That has to be changed by practice, understanding, change of consciousness.
Yeah, you're right, because we end up creating these echo chambers that feed back what we want to hear. We banish the views that we don't want to hear. And then even these days, it seems like it becomes so populist where there's this cancel culture. When anyone says something unpopular, they just get relegated off the platform. So in some ways, freedom of speech has almost been lost by democratizing it.
We have to remember that cancel culture and deplatforming are very old. I could give you many examples from my own personal experience, but it was always against the left. So therefore it wasn't considered a problem. You didn't even notice it. I mean, there are cases that are so extreme, they're almost hard to believe. Let me give you a real case. My friend Ed Herman, late Ed Herman, and I published many books together. One of them is on the media and manufacturing consent. The first book we published together was in 1971, a book called Counter-Revolutionary Violence. It was published by a small publisher, flourishing small publisher. It was owned by a major conglomerate, published 20,000 copies, ready to distribute them. An executive in the conglomerate saw the ads for the book, didn't like it, asked to see a copy, had a tantrum, ordered the publisher to stop the distribution. There was some negotiations up and back. They basically refused. So he put the whole publisher out of business, destroyed all their stock, all of it, entire stock, to prevent the distribution of one book he didn't like. Did anybody think that was a violation of freedom of speech? No. Not the ACLU, not civil libertarians, because it was private corporate censorship, which goes on all the time, of course. And it was targeted against the left, so therefore it was quite all right. I could give you just my own personal experience, case after case of what's now called deplatforming, cancel culture, breaking up meetings by violence on university campuses. You have to have police protection if you're talking about something critical. Never considered a problem. It's now considered a problem because somebody else's ox is being gored. That's all. So it's right, it shouldn't exist, but it's very hypocritical.